Once upon a time, the only way to get an overdriven signal was to grab a valve amp and overdrive that sucker by turning up the gain. Thankfully, we now have the overdrive effect here in GarageBand iOS. So in this GarageBand for iOS Quick Jam, we're going to take a look at the overdrive effect. Let's go. As mentioned in the opening there, overdrive is derived from tube amplifiers where you actually drive the gain or the volume up so loud that it's actually starting to overload or overdrive the signal. And it's used a lot for guitars and in guitar-based rock to create that real crunchy, gritty sound that's not as extreme as distortion, but it's still giving you that additional drive and additional sound that you're looking for. And if you haven't checked out the distortion effect video, that one will be linked up above and down below, and there'll also be a link at the very end of this video so you can check that one out too. But for now, let's jump in and add an overdrive effect to this rhythm guitar. At the moment, it sounds like this. So a very nice, clean guitar sound. But what if we want to give this a little bit of additional drive without going as extreme as distortion? Well, here we go. We'll go into our settings and our plugins and EQ. We'll hit edit and we'll add our overdrive effect this time. Now you'll notice if you've seen the distortion effect that our controls here are exactly the same. We have three controls. We have our drive, which is how many decibels of additional gain that we're pushing the sound. We have our tone, which controls between 20 Hertz and 20,000 Hertz, which is the bass or treble frequency at which the tone will start overdriving. And then we have our makeup gain output at the end where we can drive this signal up. So what I'm going to do is we'll double tap to put these back to our defaults, and let's play this back with its default overdrive settings. So you can hear that the effect is quite subtle. It doesn't add as much distortion as distortion, but it does give it a bit of extra crunch. Let's drive up this drive now and see if we can add some additional overdrive. And now let's adjust the tone to get a balance between the bass and treble frequencies. There we go, and you'll see that I also upped the output gain up by 3 dB, which you'll need to do sometimes, especially if you're dropping that tone knob. You'll need to up your output knob to compensate for some of that lost gain from adjusting the tone. Now, overdrive is not just for guitars. In fact, one of my favorite uses for the overdrive effect is vocals. So let's grab our lead vocal here. Now, at the moment, our lead vocal sounds like this. And if I just look around, I might have seen the trap. Which is an okay tone. It's actually already got a little bit of drive built in there to the microphone sound, but if we want to add some additional drive, we can do the same thing again. Let's go in here, let's go to our plugins and EQ, and we'll go to edit, and now we can press add and go down to our overdrive, and let's play this back with the default overdrive now. And if I just look around, so probably a bit too extreme, yeah, but if we drive this down, drive it down, and then do the same with our tone, let's just take a listen and adjust this and see if we can get a little bit of additional crunch just to make our vocals sit out in the mix. I might have seen the trap, but sometimes it just doesn't matter when... So you can hear it's just adding that rough edge to the vocal, which can actually really help it, along with some compression and some other effects that we've talked about here before. You can actually get your vocal to really sit nicely in the mix. Let's pop it back in the mix and take a listen. You've lost the map. It's a matter of trust, and I don't have enough time to commit. So you can see there that we've got a little bit more work to do to adjust the tone, but already you can hear that it's making a difference to that tone. So you can try overdrive on guitars, on vocals, on drums, on synth, on bass, whatever you want. It just gives you a more subtle version of a distorted and a peaking effect that can be really good, especially in rock music and in other sort of hard and heavy genres of music. And there you go, the very cool overdrive effect here in GarageBand iOS. If you've got comments, questions, or suggestions, you can leave those down below. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to go and play some guitar. Hey, thanks for sticking around. If you want to check out the sister video of this one, which is all about distortion, you can check that out down below, as well as another of our GarageBand Quick Jams. You can also subscribe to the channel by clicking on the Studio Live Today icon in the top right, or head on over to studiolivetoday.com for more audio goodness.